Five Nights at Freddy's is undoubtedly one of the most infamous games to come out in recent memory. Love it or hate it, its influence is really big, and even after 8 years, the fan base is still pretty active. Due to the sheer popularity of the games, a ton of spin-off fan games have been made, and while several are pretty cringe and well fan service, most of them are, or at least some of them, are genuinely really good, like for example Joy of Creation and Five Nights at Candy's, and of course Dayshift at Freddy's. Dayshift at Freddy's was originally made as a shitpost game. However, it became really popular due to its really good storytelling and lovable characters. This is one of the most beloved fan games within the community, as it was capable of making you cry, laugh, and shit your pants out of genuine discomfort. This is actually my favourite fan game series, so today I will be doing what I always do and Powerscale the trilogy. If you were to put Jack, Henry, or Dave in a fight with your fictional characters, how would they do? That's basically what I intend on answering today. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like and subscribe. This video did take ages to make, and also I had to re-record and re-edit all of this because some of the files corrupted. I'm crying inside, so it'd be really appreciated if you were to show support to this. And yeah, let's get on with Powerscaling Dayshift at Freddy's. Due to being its first installment, the series is still mostly finding its feet by this point. With this, there's not that much to go over by comparison to the other games, and most of the important stuff that's introduced in this game is better explained in the sequels, so I'll wait until those games to explain those, with the exception of the phone guys, just because it'll be easier to explain to newer viewers. You see, the phone guys were previous workers at the restaurant who died horrible deaths at Freddy Fazbear's. Upon their deaths, the company would try and bring them back to life in order to not only cover up for their deaths, but also to make them useful even after their death. This would be accomplished by sending them off to a factory where they basically become cyborgs of sorts, having a phone for a head. Depending on the time period of when they were sent away, phone guys have varying levels of memories of their past lives in order to properly live as a worker and try not to escape, with the older models having less memories. There are only two notable phone guys I'll be talking about in this video, but I figured I'd make it clear to people who haven't played the games that each phone guy is a separate character with different names. The first phone guy, Steven, actually shows many abilities. Firstly, he can break the fourth wall and is aware of other attempts of the game, which are all other timelines, meaning that Steven has awareness of other events and other timelines, giving him cosmic awareness. Steven also possesses a rocket launcher, which can easily penetrate walls, steal, and deal serious damage to buildings. The player character, also known as Jack, has a fair amount of abilities too. He has sound generation with the guitar, explosion manipulation with the firecracker, fourth wall awareness, healing, and good levels of charisma. The animatronics Bread, Bear, and Farfor also have good feats of strength, as the phone guy, or Steven, believes that Bread Bear is much worse and much scarier than a lion. Lions can generate up to 30,000 joules while running, which is enough to completely destroy walls and run up to 50 miles per hour. This level of power is further backed up by the fact that by interacting with Farfor and catching fire, Bread Bear and Farfor cause the entire restaurant to go up in flames instantly. This is also like a few of the one-off side characters such as Mike Jr. can survive without a frontal lobe. With this, we can solidly place wall to small building level scaling for the characters and have a fair few abilities, but this is massive lowballing, as I will get into in the sequels. There's even this character called King Doggo, who is later revealed to have ruled over time and space. That sounds really crazy after what I've just went over, but after you've seen this whole video, it's actually not that impressive. The phone guy in this game is called Peter, who displays enough memories to remember his old name and family, but not much else. He also displays abilities such as fourth wall breaking and access to hunting dogs. Jack also has more items and abilities too. Firstly, he has electricity manipulation with a taser, fire manipulation with a lighter, statistics amplification with cigarettes and soda. He is able to summon the janitor to him with brooms and can heal himself with pizza. Jack can also cause explosions to happen with just his bare fists, and is capable of fighting toy animatronics who are capable of shattering spines, which means that Jack is at least street tier in terms of power, but again, this is massive downplay. Jack is also capable of hacking, is a genius, can literally scare the narrator, and has elasticity. One of the key traits of Jack is that he's literally a walking corpse with no soul. Due to this, Jack has been made immortal in terms of aging, and is immune immune to soul-based attacks, as he literally doesn't have one. This was granted to him by the real Fredbear, a godly being who can teleport wherever he wants to whatever timeline he wants, and can also bring people back from the dead. When Jack goes down the evil route, he gains more abilities, one of which is being able to attack people with words. This is actually a common ability within the god tiers of the verse, being able to harm people by just talking. Jack does this to the real Fredbear and is able to reduce his defense stat to 0 and make him lose the will to fight. Henry is actually the best at this, but I'll get to him later on. After the evil route, Jack gains fear inducement, making anyone who looks at him, even the child murderer Dave, scared shitless of him. Jack even kills the real Fredbear later. Fredbear, who is described to be the concept of childhood. If you take this as Fredbear being a physical embodiment of a concept, then this would make Jack outerversal, though this is probably just a saying. At least Jack would be walled to small building level, as confirmed when he's able to take a mauling from far forward, even survive without a face. Another really popular character within the series is the game's iteration of William Afton, better known as Dave. He's a skilled killer and technician, and while he does show up in the previous game, he does show way more stuff in this game and more abilities than in the first. Firstly, he can seal people away who are in boxes with basic padlocks. Even the puppet who Dave thinks can kill him is able to be sealed away by this. Dave also has access to a gun which can fire bullets which travel on average at 1,800 miles per hour and can easily penetrate walls. Dave has also shown fourth wall awareness, immortality, preparation, cosmic awareness, and an immense pain tolerance, being able to survive being his insides being filled with spikes. And the good ending of this game, Dave becomes Dave Trap, where he shows other abilities such as body control and elasticity. He's even able to break out of a sealed room by a dude who can literally make buildings. Granted, this doesn't inherently make a building level, but it's more supporting evidence. Other animatronics display stuff such as the puppet being able to both kill Jack and Dave, have telekinesis, levitation, and life-giving, body control, natural weaponry, can sense guilt, and can also transport into a video game world. Other robots have abilities such as Mangle having fourth wall awareness, Toy Freddy having cosmic awareness, Bonnie having genius intellect and preparation, Old Bear Consequences having ageless immortality, Nightmare Foxy having access to rage power, but most importantly, Withered Freddy becoming the Dayman. As the Dayman, he is an expert in hand-to-hand combat and also has access to light-based magic, which can be dodged. There is no concrete proof that the Dayman scales below everyone else, but narratively it would make more sense for him to be at least below the main cast. With this, you can have characters up to faster than light speeds, with the real Fredbear also having healing as well, and the move Bite of 87. This move deals 1.11 octodecillion points of damage. On average, the most amount of damage is able to be dealt by Jack without weapons is roughly 70. Even if we say that Jack is just as strong as a peak athlete, then the real Fredbear's Bite of 87 would be able to put output power equal to 1.6 gigafo, or enough to destroy entire solar systems. If we take Jack at peak large building level, this could increase to 73.4 exafo, or enough to destroy multiple solar systems. This, yet again, can be downplay, as I will show later on, funnily enough. While Dave Trap does die from this, his body remains intact, and in the next game it's revealed that his soul is able to re-inhabit his old body, meaning that you could argue this is Dave's max durability as well. Another big character shown here being Shadow Doggo, who's later called Blackjack. Blackjack, much like the real Fredbear, can teleport between timelines and is stated able to travel across space and time. If you think that Blackjack does this through sheer speed, then he would have completely immeasurable speed, which is actually consistent with stuff backed up in the third game. Blackjack can even reset entire timelines as well, giving him universal plus reality warping at least. Henry also displays fourth wall breaking and possible omnipresence, but we don't get to his more impressive stuff until the final game. The finale has by far the most interesting feats in cosmology out of the entire series. This is because of the introduction to the flip side. The flip side is a realm where lost souls go beyond timelines and reality that we are familiar with, and even stated outside of time completely. This makes it a fifth-dimensional structure at the very least, which would make it pretty wild if someone was to destroy it. Epic foreshadowing. Time also doesn't flow within the flip side, which could imply inaccessible to a measurable speed for the main cast, as they can move around despite the fact that time doesn't exist. These characters are Jack, Dave, Dee, who's the puppet, Steven, Peter, Blackjack, and Henry. But let's take a wee step back first. Firstly, Dave breaks the fourth wall yet again. This random person could have cosmic awareness, and it's revealed that the real Fredbear is a literal non-entity. This means that Jack and Dave Trap both have non-physical interaction, as in the last game they're able to fight, damage, and even kill the real Fredbear. Also, Jack is able to kill like Fredbear and the evil root, which kills his existence across every timeline, despite the fact that Dave Trap also kills him in one ending, and that doesn't seem to be the reason why, the real Fredbear is dead. Meaning that you could argue that the likes of Jack has a casualty negation. Maybe. I'll leave up for you to decide. Within the battles on the flip side, each character gets more and new abilities. Firstly, Jack and Dave can increase each other's attack and defense stats and can also level up as they fight. Jack can also boost his own stats for 10 turns with I Promise, which also increases his luck, giving him some level of probability manipulation. Dave also gains the ability to Tamper, which can instantly kill people with a 1 in 3 or 1 in 2 chance. After these events, the newest phone guy in the series, named Harry, shows the ability to grow entire hallways with a kit, which shows some level of creation. Also, this SCP exists. Yeah, have fun with that knowledge and, scaling chain. Jack's also stated able to survive fires and dog euthanasia, meaning that he must have resistances to these things, and at least to some capacity, as he does die in a fire later on. Foxy is also stated to have been survived thrown down the Grand Canyon, requiring his durability to be upwards of 93,000 joules, or enough to destroy walls. Back to the flip side, and Dave can seemingly open portals and knows 19 different ways to dismantle a security camera. Despite not knowing of the other timelines in previous games, Dee is now aware of them and has the ability to heal others as well as give life. Music Man is introduced as some kind of horror who can move faster than the eye can blink, requiring him to move it faster than under a tenth of a second, but is likely even faster as he's able to blitz an off-guard Jack, who has immeasurable speed arguments as I just went over. Music Man can also crush skulls as well, just to add insult to injury. Dave's ability to create things is also shown with the fact that he's able to create a machine that can detect souls and how strong they are out of nothing but a Geiger counter, tin foil, and an old sock. Granted, he literally has all of the time in the world, but it's still a wild intelligence feat. Steven then joins the crew and shows the ability to drain health from people around him. At this point too, Jack, Dave, Dee, and Steven are able to reach a level of the flip side where reality itself is being completely messed up and constantly being warped, which could imply they have resistances to reality warping, at least in their soul form. It also has just occurred to me that the casual viewer might be confused as to how Jack can go into a realm where souls go despite not having a soul himself. Anyone could theoretically go to the flip side, it's just their soul that pushes them back from going in, and as Jack doesn't have a soul, he can freely go in, basically. Then Blackjack returns and talks about how he sealed Henry away in the deepest part of the flip side, and it's revealed that souls get stronger with emotions, which would explain why when Dee is pissed off, she's able to fight both Jack and Dave, but yet is weaker than both of them when she joins the team. Later on, it's revealed that Dark Souls, also just basically Blackjack, has access to spatial manipulation, matter manipulation, temporal manipulation, and can reverse time itself. Speaking of getting stronger, the longer Henry is left in his prison, the stronger he gets over time, and is even capable of changing the colour of the background of his prison at will, either giving him perception manipulation or possible reality warping. Speaking of Henry, he's protected by these beings named Spite, which protects him from any physical harm, and can sap health out of their targets. In the final battle, Jack has the ability to summon the doggo, Peter can amp people, and Blackjack has access to probability and darkness manipulation. Also, this might be a good time to mention that Blackjack is literally Jack's lost soul, so there's some lore for you. Henry has the ability that I talked about earlier with words, however he's much more potent with it, being able to even kill people just by talking to them. This shows levels of empathic manipulation and durability negation, where he doesn't even need to physically hurt his enemies in order to win. Also keep in mind that Blackjack has the power to reset entire timelines, and yet is still on par with Jack, Dee, Dave, Steven, and Peter and Henry, meaning that they can all scale to universal plus levels of power. Henry is also revealed to be able to leak back into timelines again despite the fact that he's literally sealed away in a realm outside of time and reality. Henry's ability to insta-kill people with words works on everyone bar Jack, which means he would have resistances to empathic manipulation and durability negation. Jack gains his sister's ability to bring people back from the dead, and with the combined power of the six, Henry falls. All of this, however, is just the good ending. We still have to go over the bad and neutral endings. To start, Dave Trap shows more instances of body control, being able to twist his head 180 degrees with no consequences, and Dave can even survive without organs, which means that even if you have a character that has the power to affect organs or outright destroy them, it wouldn't work on Dave. Henry also displays his engineering prowess, being able to make a machine which can send someone to different realms, despite the fact that he hasn't even visited the flip side yet. During the events of the evil ending, Jack becomes Springtrapped and kills Dave Trap, where it's revealed that Jack has absolutely no conscience, possibly meaning he has resistances to mind attacks. However, he's still capable of being possessed as Henry shows up and possesses him, and when this happens, it causes the game to crash itself. Normally, at the end of a route, it just goes back to the main menu, yet here the game completely closes, implying that Henry had something to do with it. By closing the game, you'll be capable of closing something which is as big as Dayshift to Freddy's macrocosm. Firstly, there are multiple timelines, which at least makes us a low multiversal feat, but however, considering the fifth dimensional structure that is the flip side, this could take up to a high multiversal plus feat and possibly even higher depending on how you want to look at it. Even if you're super skeptical, this would only scale to Henry after he's possessed Jack, but it's still an impressive feat nonetheless. There is some other miscellaneous stuff, which includes Dave Trap being able to see despite having eyes, true that, Oscar being able to levitate and have fourth wall awareness, the ungrateful toddlers being timeless and are implied capable of surviving the sun exploding, giving them large star durability. While on crack and wearing a suit, Jack is able to one-shot one of these toddlers, meaning that he can have star to solar system level power this way. Godred is also an eldritch horror that's introduced, however it doesn't really have many feats, but does have some statements such as death won't save you from him and he emits dark magic. Dave Trap can also turn himself into an eggplant. Funniest shit I have ever seen. So what have we learned? Even when heavily lowballing, characters reached levels of wall to small building levels of power, with superhuman levels of speed. Mid-balling you can get characters to faster than light and universal plus, it can even get them to inaccessible to immeasurable speed, with the god tiers reaching possibly high multiversal plus. With this scaling you can have the likes of Jack, Dave, Henry, solo the likes of Dragon Ball Super, Naruto, One Piece, and pretty much most of anime depending on who you ask. Also, I've been trying to think of good matchups for these characters. I have thought of a couple such as Henry vs Chara, Henry vs Makima, Jack vs Frisk, and Steven and Peter vs Android 17 and 18, though, as you can tell, many of these are quite one-sided. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.